Hey, welcome back, friends. So social media, that's how I make a living these days. And if you've noticed, I don't know if you have, you probably have, there's a lot of advertising on social media these days. And it's come to my attention that a lot of you guys out there, specifically in the RV YouTube world, are just totally convinced that most of us YouTubers, even though we're mom and pop size, most of us are bought and sold, and that we'll just show you anything and do anything for a little bit of money or a couple of products. That's not actually true. So now, full disclosure, we have partners, we have sponsorships. Yes, we do. We could have a lot more, and we don't. And we're going to talk about that today. Here are the companies that we have ticked off as social media personalities. I hate the word influencers. I hate that word, so I'm going to refuse to use that. But YouTubers, Facebook page, whatever else. We've ticked off some folks. We're going to talk about that in this video. Before we get started, help us pay some bills and check out a company we really enjoy doing business with. Today's video is brought to you by Etrailer.com. Etrailer.com is your one-stop trusted source for anything trailer related. And if you're in a towable like this, you just got a trailer, really. So let me show you what I talk about when I talk about anything trailer related. Need a new set of stairs? Etrailer.com. Stabilizer jacks? Etrailer.com. How about a new awning? Etrailer.com. Etrailer.com has furnaces, tongue jacks, water heaters. Need a part for your slide mechanism? Etrailer.com. Do you need a microwave, a stove, a fridge? Etrailer.com. You can go to Etrailer.com and even get new furniture. Not only does Etrailer have all of these great parts for you guys to choose from, they've also got really good customer service that'll help you decide, is this the right part for you? So grateful for Etrailer sponsorship. Let's get back into today's video. Now, you just watched an ad from Etrailer. We really enjoy doing business with Etrailer, but let me be clear. Etrailer has nothing to do with the opinions that I have, okay? I don't want them drug into this. They're super cool. They reach out and say, hey, we want to sponsor a couple videos a month, and that's all. That's all that has to do with that. So they don't know this is anything about this. I've got my little cheat sheet here. I've got several companies that I've ticked off, and so we're going to talk about why. There's a couple of stories that are long-winded. I'll go ahead and apologize for that. And also, this is just my experience as a YouTube channel, a Facebook page, whatever else. I'm not telling you not to do business with these companies. A lot of these businesses have wonderful people working with them. It's not about that. I'm going to explain what it's all about when we get going. But yeah, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9 companies here that probably aren't going to do business with us anymore, probably don't want to be on our channel anymore. And most of it's because we just tell the truth, all right? I'll just be frank with you, all right? Let's start off with the biggest company that we have ticked off as YouTubers / Facebook page, whatever else, and that's Lippert. So as an RV-related YouTube channel, most of our content is truck, hitch, RV, camping related. Lippert's a big company to tick off. All right, Lippert has a bunch of subsidiary brands that a couple of those I've ticked off as well. We're going to talk about that. And this is kind of a long story, so you may want to fast forward, but I think there's some explanations to be had here. Because we were actually brand ambassadors for Lippert for a couple of years. When they first reached out, I'll tell you the backstory here. When they first reached out, we were excited. We were a very small channel. We're still fairly small. I'd call us mom and pop size. But at this time, we only had a couple of thousand, maybe 5,000 subscribers. And yeah, they just reached out and said, hey, we would like for you guys to be our brand ambassadors. This was 2020, right in the beginning of COVID. And really, at this point, no one knew what brand ambassadors were. And so we kind of, including us, and so we agreed. We took it as a compliment that a multi-billion-dollar company is reaching out to our little tiny YouTube channel and asking us to partner with them. I knew what LCI was. At the time it was LCI. They've rebranded to just Lippert, but at the time it was Lippert Components, Inc. And so I knew what LCI was about. They were basically a budget-friendly option in RV repair. They also did tons of OEM stuff, but basically for a consumer like you and I, if you needed a part, Lippert probably made it, and they made a decent part for a fair price. So I was about that. I didn't need the fanciest, latest, greatest. I just needed, sometimes if I needed a part, I just need to get the job done. I'm talking too much. Anyway, long story short, we agreed to be ambassadors. About that same time, they started coming out. I'm going to try to speed this up. They started coming out with camping accessories. The camping accessories were cool, but lo and behold, after about a year of seeing these accessories, watching them drop, hearing everyone's experiences with them, I started doing some research. They're all basically Ozark Trail clones from Walmart. They're basically China-sourced, Alibaba-sourced products from China. And a lot of the exact same stuff you could get at Walmart for sometimes half or even a third of the price. That didn't sit well with me. All right, and there's a lot to this story, but I'm trying to speed it up. So that didn't sit well with me. I still didn't want to burn my bridge with Lippert. Lippert's a huge company. We're a tiny little YouTube channel. It's a little bit intimidating. So I just didn't bring it up. I didn't talk about it much. They kept feeding me products, and I just literally kept giving them away. If you guys remember, we'd do Campground Santa. Every time we would go camping, we would give away a bunch of Lippert stuff. And so I was like, hey, I'm just going to keep giving this stuff away. I'm not necessarily going to tell everyone to go buy it, but it's fun to give stuff away to people. And so we did that for a little while. And then they sent me an e-bike that was absolutely terrible. They knew it was terrible. They still dropped it on you guys as consumers. That kind of pissed me off. Excuse my French. Some of you take offense to that word. But that ticked me off. All right. I still didn't say anything. I still held back a little bit, but I went silent with them. I didn't talk to them. I didn't reach out to them. They didn't reach out to me either. And so I kind of think we had mutual feelings for a while. They're already ticked at me. I'm definitely ticked at them. And so, but I still didn't want to be officially like, hey, you guys can kiss it, see ya. And so I didn't. I just kind of held back. Then I made a ranch hand video about my ranch hand setup. I had a front bumper, rear bumper, and running boards. The running boards and the rear bumper, if you guys watched that video, I didn't think they were designed very well. It couldn't fit my foot on them. The rear bumper was slippery, etc., etc. So I kind of just made a video explaining, hey, I showed you guys these, but in reality, as I've lived with them, I don't really care for them. So I needed to explain that to you, the viewer. You guys are the priority. Within 24 hours, I get a phone call from Lippert. Now, I understand they hadn't talked to me in months. I knew exactly what it was about. So they played the dog and pony show. They acted like they were checking in on me, seeing how I was doing. I knew that was a bunch of malarkey. And so finally, at the end, they're like, oh, yeah, by the way, that ranch hand video that you just dropped, ranch hand's not too happy about that. Would you mind taking that down? And I was kind of taken aback. I'm like, whoa, time out. You don't get to have any say with my channel, like none. I didn't say that to them, but I just politely said, no, and I'm not going to mention names, but I'm like, no, I'm not going to take that video down. So their social media manager at the time, who hadn't even introduced herself to me at this point, she'd been on for a couple of months, she reached back again. She's like, well, maybe you can change the title of the video because that's not looking good on SEO. Search engine optimization or whatever, search engine search. And so I said, no. She said, well, that's kind of harsh. I said, I used the word disappointed. I really wanted to use the word why I hate my ranch hand bumpers to try to get some drama clicks, but I don't do that. That's just not how we work really. And so I just used why I'm disappointed with my ranch hand bumpers. She goes, okay, well, I'll reach back out in a couple of days and maybe you've changed your mind. Okay, sure. Sure enough, a couple days goes by, emails me, hey, have you thought a second about taking that video down? And so I just immediately drafted and sent a letter of dissolution to them, basically tell them we will have nothing else to do with them. And so, yeah, I'm pretty sure Lippert is ticked off at us. I say that, let's just say they're not going to do any business with us. I don't even think they think about us anymore. But at the time, I think I ticked them off. Now, that's been 3-4 years now, so that's in the past. But there you go. There's an example of us standing up for you guys and our integrity and dumping basically the biggest RV-related company in the world, which is Lippert. So I'm going to give our channel props for that, and I'm also going to, pat myself on the back and say, hey, we're protecting you guys during all of this as well. So Lippert is number one. Along with Lippert, and I talked about Ranch Hand, so Lippert, Ranch Hand, along with Lippert, another Lippert-owned company is Curt. And so we've ticked them off. They sent us a hitch. Their hitch was pretty good. And then they started sending us a little ancillary stuff. Well, they came out with this little accelerometer type product where you plugged in into your truck's CPU, and it would weigh, supposedly, it would weigh your rig. It was called the Better Way. It was literally just a small box that you plugged into your truck's port, where they plug in the diagnostic port where they plug in and see what's going on with your vehicle. That's where you plugged it in, and it was using an accelerometer supposedly, and you would calibrate it by accelerating aggressively and braking aggressively, which what does that even mean? I mean, aggressive is very subjective. And so anyway, so I couldn't get it to work. It was off by 3,000 pounds on my rig. So I had like a 9,000 pound rig and it was saying it was 6,000 pounds. And I'm like, this is not even close. So they ended up getting engineers on the phone with me while I'm calibrating this thing, and you get it up to 30 miles an hour and then you hit the brakes real hard and blah, blah, blah. Could not get it to work for anything. It was so, and it was working. It was giving me results, but the results were way off. It was just a terrible product. And oddly enough, it had just won like a SEMA award out in Las Vegas, which I'm not so sure those awards aren't paid for anyway. But yeah, it just would not work for me. And I told him, I'm not going to touch it. But this is, at this point, it's dangerous. If you're going to be off 3,000, 4,000 pounds on a rig, you're going to give people, you know, confidence they shouldn't be having in their tow vehicle. And I'm not touching this thing. So it ticked them off. I hadn't heard anything from them since. This was before, obviously, our dissolution with Lippert as a whole. But yeah, so Lippert, now we're at Curt, now we're at Ranch Hand. Let's go to the next one. And this one got kind of nasty, and I'm not going to get into all the specifics there, and I'm not going to name names. But the next one, the next company I've really ticked off, and that is ProPride. Long story short, reached out to ProPride, asked them if they wanted to exchange a hitch to be a part of our hitch battle that we did several years ago. All right? They said sure. They sent me a hitch. They sent me the latest, greatest. I actually liked their hitch. I still like their hitch. Let me be clear about that. They have a good product. ProPride has a good product. A couple years go by. I'm not using the ProPride anymore. I'm basically using mostly WaySafe stuff, B&W stuff. I used EasyLift TR3. Those are the three I really like. The ProPride was just sitting. This is 18 months. I haven't heard anything from ProPride. They haven't reached out with me about any updates, check-ins, nothing. A year and almost 2 years actually, and probably 20 months. So we haven't even emailed, nothing at all. So I'm like, that it was still on our personal unit. It was just sitting at a permanent campground, rotting away. Not really, but you know what I mean. It was not being used. And so I just said, you know what? I need to sell that thing. That thing's, it's not being used. Somebody else could get good use of it. I'll sell it for super cheap. I think I sold it for like 1,200 bucks. And, but then I needed to explain why I got rid of it. Because basically I just have success with WaySafe and B&W and TR3, mainly WaySafe stuff now. And so, well, they caught wind of that. They caught wind that I sold that hitch that they had exchanged with me. I had fulfilled my end of the bargain. They had fulfilled their end of the bargain. Our relationship at that point was basically over because they hadn't reached out, talked to me in almost 2 years. And, but they caught wind of it. They didn't like it. They didn't like that somebody chose another hitch over their magical hitch. You know, they are sold on this hitch. They're convinced that if you use any other hitch, that you're going to kill your family. And I kind of take that personally. Like, I've used a bunch of hitches. I'm not putting my family in any more danger with a WaySafe or a B&W than I am using your hitch. I'm just not. I have experienced it. I'm not an advertisement. And the owner even challenged me to like a debate and all this stuff. And I'm thinking, no, I'm not going to, I will debate you, but you're going to look foolish because you're going to give all of this information. You're probably much smarter than I am in that department. I'm not an engineer. You're going to give all this information, and then I'm just going to look at you and say, well, that wasn't my experience. I didn't have that kind of experience. I had a different experience. So he didn't like that. Long story short, ProPride is ticked off at me. Next on the list, Blue Ox. Blue Ox is a great company. All right, they've got good customer service. Their build quality seems to be good. They seem to have gotten better. Their product wasn't good for me. And so, ironically, they were the initiators, basically, of the hitch battle. I'd had a Blue Ox Sway Pro. It was the only thing I'd really used, so I thought it was good. Well, then Curt sent me their True Track, which was better. They saw that video and say, well, hey, we've got another hitch without the chains. Let us send you that, Blue Ox. And let's send you that, and you compare that one to the Curt. Well, I did. It didn't match up well with the Curt. The Curt still outperformed that one as well. I think that was called the Track Pro from Blue Ox. And they didn't like me. They didn't like me for that. They never reached back out to me. Never heard another hide and hair from them, and for good reason, because they rank very, very low, dead last basically on my hitch rankings. And so I think they're kind of ticked off at me. All right, so what do we got? Lippert, Curt, Ranch Hand, ProPride, next Blue Ox, next on the list, Hemiway e-bikes. Hemiway sent me an e-bike. Quality was very good. It was a full suspension e-bike, and the rear suspension, even though I was much less than the 300-pound capacity it claimed, the rear suspension would bottom out on me, just killing my back almost every time I'd hit a medium-sized bump. And so I just got to the point where I would just stand up on the pedals when I rode the thing. And I reached out to him. I said, hey, can I adjust this rear suspension? It's just not working well. Well, no, you can't adjust it. Okay. I said, well, I'm only 240 pounds. This thing claims to have a 300, 400 pound capacity. I'm bottoming out on just medium type bumps. Like, I have to stand up on this bike. Oh, well, just maybe just don't mention that in the video. It's like, no, I'm going to mention that. Like, if I'm going to do a video, I'm going to mention it. Long story short, they ended up picking their bike back up. I didn't do a video on it. Didn't want to waste your time. But yeah, so Hemiway e-bikes, they're ticked off at me. Next on the, I literally got this long list. Next on the list is NewAir. NewAir makes portable fridges. They sent me a portable fridge. It worked okay. It was extraordinarily loud. That's not supposed to be that. They ended up sending me another one. Same thing. It was extraordinarily loud. I told them, I said, hey, I can't recommend this to my folks. I don't care for this fridge. It is way too loud. And I had several other portable fridges, electric coolers, whatever you want to call them. And this is not correct. This is not how it should be. Your compressor is way too loud. And I don't think I want to do a video for this. You can come pick it up. Send a UPS box. I'll ship it back to you. They didn't like that. I don't think they even responded to that email. So I'm pretty sure they're ticked off at me. NewAir. Last on the list, Happy Run e-bikes. So this just came about. I just did this video a couple videos ago. Happy Run sent me basically almost like a, I don't know, this weird hybrid of an e-bike and an e-motorcycle. And the quality wasn't great. They neglected to thread some where the passenger foot pegs were located. They neglected to thread those, so I couldn't put one on one side. They literally asked me not to talk about it. And again, I said, hey, if I'm going to make a video, I'm going to talk about it. I said, you're welcome. I don't have to do a video. You can just come pick this thing up and we wash our hands of each other and that's it. But if I make a video, I'm going to call this out. I have to. And they come back to me. He's like, well, maybe just don't say much about it. I'm like, no, it's a big deal. Like, this is, somebody spent $1,500 of their dollars on this. It shouldn't have this type of issue. There's some questionable welds and yeah, so they weren't happy about that either. So there you go, guys. That's the list so far. This is a video's already gone on way too long, but I just wanted to let you know that not all of us, quote, YouTubers have sold out. I think there is a way. We certainly, again, we have partners, we have sponsorships. I think there is a way to balance your best interest as a viewer and as a subscriber and sponsorships, partnerships. I think there is a way to balance of it, and I think it just all boils down to integrity. If I have a bad experience, I'm not necessarily running to the camera to call them out and get drama clicks. That's not really what I want to do. That's why I don't really care to do this video, but I think it's important to do. And so you guys are always first priority. Your best interest is always first priority. And some of us on YouTube, not just me, there's several good channels out there that still have your best interest. And I just want you to know not all of us have sold out. Not just me, but others are still good to go as well. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say about this subject. I don't like doing these videos, but I do them to try to explain to you guys that, yeah, you can trust us. We are just one experience. People have certainly had great experiences with a lot of these companies. I want to be, again, clear about that. But we're just one experience, and if our experience can help you in your overall research of whatever you're looking for, whatever you need, that's our goal. It's not to influence you, it's to inform you. And sometimes, it's better that we just not waste your time. And that's really where we've ticked off a lot of these companies, calling them out. I think a lot of them think they can just intimidate YouTube channels if they give them a $2,000 e-bike. It's like, hey, here's a $2,000 e-bike. They're definitely not going to say anything bad about us because we might send them another one. That's not how we roll, guys. That is not how we roll. And I want you guys to know that. Guys, I hope you're being safe out there. We always appreciate you guys. We're over 85,000 subscribers. And, you know, last year I thanked you every single video. And sometimes I feel weird not showing my appreciation. So I might start thanking you more and more again, even in 2025. I hope you're being safe out there, and thank you. See ya.